Well, Jeff, it's pretty exciting to be at this point in our adventure, which has gone on several years, actually several decades at this point. But most recent adventure, writing this third edition. And it's where we've got the proofs, we're holding them, we're finishing them up, and we're reflecting for a few minutes. Have a few questions and answers to share with people that might want to know, why did we write this book? So I'll let you jump in with your thoughts about that.
All right. Yeah, I echo that. It is exciting to be here finally, where the book is almost ready to be coming out. From my standpoint, well, we wrote our first book in, I think, 2006. The next one came along in 2014. So just by virtue of time, I guess it's kind of time to write another one. But things change, right? But in particular, really in the last 10 years, I really feel like things have just really picked up with integrated care so much. And with PCBH specifically, there's just such a better recognition now of PCBH, such a larger database, literature around PCBH. It became clear to me that we have a whole new story to tell. And so it seemed like a great time to write it from that standpoint. But what about for you? What made this feel like the right time from your standpoint to write a third edition?
Well, for sure, like you said, more and more science about this and more outcomes, and with that, just more enthusiasm. But I think, something I was really wanting to do was share everything I've been learning from everybody else. And I feel like we have been so lucky, Jeff, to be able to go out and work with so many different people in different places, in different contexts, in different countries, and to learn. And there's just so many hardworking, brilliant people out there in this field in all disciplines. And so I just almost felt like I needed to write it down just as an act of gratitude for this opportunity to learn from all these people and create a record,
Yeah,
yeah, for other people to carry forward.
yeah, I hear you. I think we wrote a little bit about that in the book, that sometimes when you're writing about systems change like we are, it's like, oh my gosh, the system has so many challenges, but and you sometimes wonder why, how do things even get done in healthcare, right? Sometimes, but so many challenges, but it's because of all the great people and somehow they make it work in the end. So yeah, I echo that, just great gratitude for all the wonderful people that I've come across, doing this work. What do you think as you think about the book that is almost published now? What anything about it that stands out to you as especially new or different that you feel like is really exciting?
Well, a couple of things that were really stood out for me in writing is um, I have a clearer understanding of leadership and implementation
Hmm.
and just a reverence for implementers and all the complexities of implementing. So I think, we made a real effort to write to them in this book, to write to leaders and leaders of all kinds, from the C-suite to clinical leaders to, people that are managing a program it's really probably brand new in their system, and trying to come up with outcomes and get those integrated and feasible and scale up at the same time. In most systems, it's pretty big task. And so we tried to break it down. I know we've got one chapter with steps. We try to make it a very approachable 4 steps that
Hmm.
leaders and leadership teams can take. And I think we clarify better the important roles of trainers, people that are out there trying to learn this and teach it at the same time, almost within the same year, because that's the nature of transformation within a healthcare system. You start this, and then everybody else is, where's our behavioral health consultant? How do we get this going? So lots of materials for trainers and
Hmm.
competencies for trainers, ways of working. So putting all of that in, I think, was
Yeah.
makes it new and different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are the implementation guru, I mean, helping an entire country, the country of New Zealand, implement PCBH, amongst other, large systems. So yeah, to me, I agree. That's one really cool thing about this book is just putting together all the lessons learned about how to implement PCBH. Yes, in large systems like that, but also in small systems too. I think we got a little something for everybody in this book, no matter the size of your system, or a lot of something for everybody. I think, yeah. And I think for me too, the other thing that I really am excited about with this book is it really, uh, I think it's a nice mix of science, but also anecdote, which our books we've always tried to make them that way. But, in this one, we've got the chapter on the top 10 tips for implementation, right? So it's a mix of science, but also anecdote about just what are the top 10 things to know if you want to integrate behavioral health into primary care. We've got a whole chapter on frequently asked questions, just very readable, very pragmatic. A lot of them frequently asked questions that people have about PCBH and our suggested answers to those. So yeah, so I think it's really filled with pragmatic, evidence-based information, backed with a lot of anecdotal experience. And I'm super excited about all that.
Excellent. Well, one more question.
Mhm.
Um, and that has to do with what kind of impact you hope the book has. Is there something that you'd love to kind of look back in 5 years and see different things have started to happen?
Well, it's I think for me, if we can show, as the data accumulates, that PCBH is something that actually uh, makes primary care better, and uh, therefore really makes the lives of people better. And when I say people, I mean the lives of patients, which is really all of us, because we all go to primary care, but also the lives and livelihoods of people working in primary care, because it's a tough place to work. So if we're able to demonstrate increasingly and help people to implement increasingly these PCBH strategies that can just make people's lives better, all of our lives better, and the lives and the work of people doing this hard work in primary care, that's like dream come true. But
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
about you?
Oh yeah, that for sure. That, people would love their work and stay with it. That we would have better retention of all members of the team and more comfort with working together in teams. And I think that behavioral health consultants would have more confidence and success as working as generalists. And I think another thing I'd love to see is more adaptation of focused acceptance and commitment therapy as the playbook for behavior change, whether we're talking about prevention, acute care, chronic conditions, that the team would be developing this basic set of skills for supporting development of health protection skills for people, and that this would be huge in terms of more psychologically flexible population, um, and ready to solve some of the problems, the huge problems that the world is facing right now. And that our children would turn the corner, our children and teenagers would start to be healthier and more playful and have good lives. I think so big, Jeff, but all of these things I'm hoping.
Yeah, well, go big or go home, as they say, right? So, yeah. Okay, well, great. Well, it was fun to have this little conversation. It's going to be even more fun to actually see the book out in print.
Yeah.
So, um, thanks for engaging me today.
Yes, first take, it's a wrap.